Alright, let's go through a lap at Imola. This track has been redone a little bit. The track limits overall are pretty forgiving, which is good because in almost every corner you have to attack these curbs pretty much as the game will let you get away with. The braking points are not so much static as guidelines now. Like, it's really just about your confidence in your setup, where you feel like you could throw the car in places. This is a big track where it's about looking where you want the car to go and then kind of feeling out when to turn in for it. But coming in to start the lap, you want to stay all the way to the right as much as you can. Obviously don't get a track limit penalty, because you can't do that. It's just about like minimizing the run up to the first corner up here. So staying to the right and then hooking it back across. The turn one is hard because you can't really come into it straight, because you're just coming off of a curve when you get to the braking zone. But what I would recommend is kind of putting it down into like fifth gear around the start of that curve back there, maybe past the 100 but before the 50, and then you want to completely mount this curb as much as the game will let you get away with, and then also fully mount this curb as much as the game will let you get away with, and you can pretty much be flat over that second curb. It's really ridiculous. This one up here, I wouldn't really worry about touching this one. You don't really need it for the speed, and it can cause the car to oversteer. Coming up into this next chicane is another one that you have to cut like crazy. You're going to want to put the car all the way to the right. This one is kind of field, because you're eyeing up where you want to like sacrifice this first corner, because you have to sacrifice entry in this first one to line up that second one. So you want to come in and I mean just obliterate this, right? And it's like sixth gear, and then your goal is to bring it then back and like take as much as the game will let you get away with here too. And that kind of will wash you out to here, which is fine. Just don't go track limits. And then coming up to the, what is this, Tosa? Whatever. Put it in third and bring it in. You don't want to like touch this curb, because it can like steal some of your momentum away from you. But you're going to be trying to get on the power as quick as you can. It is worth sending it out wide here, just because like if you can get on power a little bit sooner, you make up the difference from being on the uneven surface there. Then coming up here to another very high confidence fast left-hander. This is one that you're going to have to like eyeball and take a lot of fucking curb. It'll make a lot of sense once you see me do my lap, but you want like to be as much as it'll let you get away with over it, and it's going to wash you out. Now, keeping this flat all the way up to Acumina Rally here. Here you got a couple options. You don't have to take this inside curb. If you have a setup that likes to understeer a lot, maybe do it for the rotation. But ideally you don't want to do that, because it makes it where you can't line up this second entry right, because you want to try and get out pretty far and line this up, and it's like third or fourth gear, so that you can then bring it in and cut this inside and be like flat on it, and also straight line over this curb too. Now, this next part is the most important corner I think on this whole goddamn track. It is absolutely ridiculous how much the game will let you get away with on the cuts here. But you're going to be braking and shit before the 50 here. You 1,000,000% have to send this over the yellow curb here. You have to do it. You need to be off the brakes when you do it. So you brake hard for that corner, and third is what you want to be in. You throw it in. Try to be off the brakes when you get onto this curb, okay? And then once you're out there, you should be able to then bring it back over that one as well and be on it like pretty fucking quick. Way quicker than you're going to be any other way that you take that corner. You have to cut as much as the game will let you get away with, and it'll let you get away with quite a bit. Now, coming up to this next corner, the only like kind of hard downhill braking. I mean, Minerali doesn't really count in my opinion. So this one is like maybe around the 60 is when you're going to brake, and you want to turn in and mount this curb. You really want to do it, and then put it up and forth to here. And then for this corner, if you understeer a lot in your setup, you can take more of that curb to help with the rotation. But if your setup is fine and like doesn't, especially if it oversteers, don't do that because it'll have snapped it. But you can, take that if you need it. But I would highly recommend not doing that because you can just get on power quicker. But anyway, so let me try and show you a lap, see if I can do one without track limits, because like I said, a big part of this is just realizing how much the game will let you get away with and like being able to do it consistently, like cutting as much as you can get away with in a consistent way. Let's do one more, see if we can put together a decent one here. I held the brakes too long going into that chicane back there. That's what happened. So you want to try and do all the braking beforehand and be off of them when you start going in to the corners. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. It's yeah. The very first hot lap that I did, it should be obvious exactly how much fucking curb you can take. I mean, because I was taking quite a bit. It's just being able to do that consistently and getting away with it. But anyway, there you have it.